Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Come my brother, come my sister, let us work hand in hand to build a nation together, to build Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And that is what we are working very hard at and towards. We want a better Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. I want to welcome you wherever you are to the Hub, 1 hour of conversation via radio and social media. I want to encourage those who are tuning in or viewing or locked in via Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. When you do, you give your friends, your colleagues, the opportunity to be a part of the discourse, to be a part of the conversation. And tonight, we're keeping it positive. Tonight, we are sharing about some of the good things that the government is doing within Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Let's start off tonight with the Honorable Andy Williams, and in fact, he will be featured tonight in most of the little pieces that I have. Let's look at the market, because that has been a burning issue for a great many people here in Grenada. That market has been under construction for a very, very long time, and nothing has been done to get the vendors who are on the streets, vending on the sidewalks, to be doing that, plying their trade and doing their usual stuff in the market. You have a new facility there, almost 100% complete and so on. Yes, there are some other work to be done, but the Minister of Implementation indicated that within a month or so, we should see some movements in terms of the market in St. George's, and that is what they're dealing with firstly.
We have to put back some structure into the market, some structure into the sidewalks, and make it more feasible. And, listen, and if you have people visiting Grenada and coming to Grenada, this have to look better than this. We have to do a better job, And my ministry, the Ministry of Infrastructure, is determined to get it straight and get it right.
Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, as he toured the St. George's Market Square on Wednesday. He heard the concerns of vendors and has some observations on what needs to be done to make the market a more conducive, proper functioning facility.
So what I did do, right, I'm making my duty to speak with the people, the vendors and so, in the market, to find out their concerns. And what we saw, the garbage and so was not properly disposed of. You have people urinating and so all over the market. You had cases where people have their speakers and all sort of things, Then you have the noise pollution that people are complaining about. We have a building that is dilapidated. and apparently they have current and so in the building, so we have to take care of these things. And then from a business standpoint, you hear the cry of the vendors saying that people are not coming to the market. And part of that problem could be that people are vending on the street.
It's long overdue, the sentiments echoed by vendors both within and on the outskirts of the St. George's Market, pointing to the unoccupied booth in the market square. The minister gave this assurance.
In the upcoming weeks, I should say, we will be looking to move the people from the sidewalks and so into the market. And we are going to have a strict policy where you cannot vend on the sidewalk. It may mean that not everyone that are on the sidewalk can come into the market, but we have to start from somewhere. It means working with them to get an alternative spot, then so be it. We may get some backlash from it, but that is some of the costs we have to face for development. Ministry of MIT and Infrastructure will be working this week and next week to put a plan in place, and we are going to execute on that plan. So I would say give us a month or so, and we will have something ready to work with. But we want to do it properly, right? And whatever we do have to make sense. And it have to make sense for the vendors and for the people.
Vendors who already occupy booths and have not been paying their monthly dues for the space will most likely face consequences.
That was brought to my attention, and we'll have to meet with the vendors and have a discussion with them as to how we go forward. Because we'll have to make a decision, with the booths. Because there are people outside who want to vend and who are willing to pay their rent, and they have to be given a fair chance if the people that are there now do not want to comply.
The minister's next stop was at the Grenville Market. Chrislina John, GBN News.
Right, so again, the government is serious about implementation. So we have seen under the NNP for quite a number of years, they have been working on that market. And some people thought that it would be indefinitely, they will be working on it and not having the vendors utilize it. So this administration is now implementing, making sure that the vendors go in and utilize the facility. The sidewalks could be very, very messy at times and congested and blocked and just name it, obstructions left, right, and center. The sidewalk should be left for people to walk. There should be no one vending on the sidewalks. And don't matter who. The sidewalks should be upgraded, in fact. So after they clear these folks out of the sidewalks, they should do some work now to fix the sidewalks in St. George's. Bring it up to mark. Modernize it so that people who are visually impaired can navigate easily, at least in the flat areas to start with. Right? So we're looking at Melville Street. We're looking at Halifax Street. We're looking at Bruce Street. We're looking at Go Street. We're looking at Hillsborough Street. We're looking at Cross Street. We're looking at these places, the flat areas. We're looking at, at least the start of St. John Street, the kind of flat areas. You can start doing some work there with the sidewalks. And don't matter who, there should be a zero vending policy on the sidewalks, that you charge the people after you bring who you have to bring inside, and those who did not get that opportunity to get inside, at least you can maybe see how you can accommodate them if they don't have an actual booth in there, but a particular open space, because I realize that there's about 2 or 3 open space inside there that they can utilize. So that must be considered. And after that, should be a zero policy. Once they find you vending, they must charge you, and no matter who, they could complain. That's their business. At the end of the day, there needs to be law and order in this place, and the vulgarity has to stop. Let them complain. Let them cry and groan. That's their business, because they're so accustomed to lawlessness. They're so accustomed to breaking the law. They're so accustomed to trying to change everything and cheat the system. So you have a market where everybody can go and buy and purchase stuff, but they want to leave the market and sell on the side of the road or on the sidewalks. That has to change. But the police must be given full authority to charge those who are vending on the sidewalks or who are leaving the market and come out and vend, right? Because you don't need that situation where every day new vendors are coming on the streets. You have to cut that out once and for all and bring some order in St. George's in particular, and then you move to Grenville and the other areas. You need to get things in order. So again, I want to commend the Honorable Andy Williams. He's doing an excellent job. The only thing I would advise the government to do is to utilize the public relations officers of the different ministries when you're going out so that they can capture the moment, not just photos. Anytime you see just photos like crazy on GIS and on some of those ministers' pages, it speaks to a lack of effort on the part of the public relations officers. Either they are not being consulted, or they're not being worked with, or they're not working along with the ministers the way they're supposed to do short pieces of videos, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute and 30 seconds, explaining the projects, interviewing the ministers, right? So while Andy's doing an excellent job and I commend him, we need to see more of the other ministers being featured when they do stuff, but they have a public relation officer in their ministry. What is that person, doing? What is their roles and responsibilities and so on? We need to see more of that. And you need to utilize GIS some more so that they can capture the moment and do a piece. Yes, you're doing some kind of review at the end of the month or the week or whatever they are doing now. I think they're doing some weekly thing, some weekly review and so on. Nothing is wrong with that. I see no problem with that. But I am saying you need to still continue doing what must be done as it relates to when you have projects, when you have things happening, not just photos. It speaks to laziness on the part of the public relation arm within the government, from GIS all the way down to the different public relations officers of the different ministries. And I think there is a need for the government to appoint a director of GIS, somebody who can be in control of all these public relation officers so that they have assignments, so that they know they have to go out and capture what the different ministers are doing within the different communities and so on. And the ministers must work closely with those public relation officers. And we know the majority of them, they were brought in under the NNP, the public relations officers. We know that. But I am saying they need to find work to do, and they must be given work to do, because we've seen too much of photos. It speaks to laziness on the part of the PR machinery within the government. So you leave these photos up to people to interpret and guess what is happening. There are some people, they're only moved by visual aid and more than just a photo. It has to be video in this day and age. That is why TikTok is so popular. That is why everybody wants to go on TikTok, because you see a 30 seconds video or a 1 minute video or a minute and 30 seconds. We need to see the public relation officers doing just that, right? We need to see more of that. Too much of video and photos. The ministers, they're doing so many things and a whole pile of damn photos all over the place. Stupid is ridiculous, right? Nonsense, utter rubbish. And people already start complaining about this thing. We need to see short videos properly produced by the public relation officers of those different ministries, capturing what the ministers are doing, right? Because look, for example, I have to take GBN news piece to feature Andy Williams in the market doing what he's doing there. Because if you go on GIS, a whole pile of photos. Come on, it has to be more than that. We are living in an age where people appreciate more visual aid, not just photos, but videos, actual videos. Look at TikTok, for example, and you learn from that process. Look at how they big. They're big because they're utilizing video, short videos, getting the message across. So I hope the ministers can work along with the public relations officers, or the public relations officers can work along with the ministers, right? And again, folks, I want to urge you to share the live. The program is live. Share it so your friends can see it on your page. It doesn't make sense. We have almost 900 people viewing the live, and when it comes to the amount of people sharing the live, it's about 90 something or 100. Come on, share the live. That is your role. Share the live. I am facilitating the conversation, but share it. When you share the live, you give more people on your page, on Facebook, YouTube, and so on, the opportunity to view. You can help, make this thing big or bigger. That is what is required. Share the live. I beg of you to do such. So again, I hope the ministers can do just that. And we really need to see the public relation officers doing their work in the different ministries. What are they paid to do? And they're paid a handsome amount, $3,000+ in some instances. What really are they doing? We need to see more. There are some who are trying, but we need to see them producing short videos telling the complete story of the different projects and the different things that are happening. Very short and straightforward. We need to see that happening. And we need to start to put some fire under these people's feet so that they can get work to do. Because you've seen those ministers doing stuff and just a whole pile of damn photos being uploaded on GIS page and those ministers' pages. Just photos, leaving it up to people to interpret. Utter rubbish. We need to see videos being produced, short videos, telling the story, what is being done, because there are people who are not, 100% in the reading bracket, right? So you leave it up to them to interpret. But if you have a video, short video, explain what is going on, what is being achieved, then you get somewhere. So one minister would not be featured throughout. You see, the ICI went tonight, right? Because I wanted to really look for myself. In Carriacou, a whole pile of things are being done in Carriacou, right? I went specifically to look. So I went on Tevin's page, for example. You have drums being delivered, right? Drums being delivered to the folks in Carriacou, Hillsborough, Carriacou, Petit Martinique. The government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and local government, is ensuring the interest in music remains on a high. The Drumco unit, based on Carriacou, has benefited from new drums purchased by the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and local government. Okay, so that's a biggie. But they just put out a release. Okay, that's great. But there's a need to do a short piece, because it would remain there for a long time. Do a short 1 minute and 30 seconds production where you speak to it, you interview the folks there who are setting up the drums, those who will benefit from the drums. You do a short interview of 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You don't have to have it long and drawn out, right? But you need to do that. We need to see that happening. And then you look again at a number of other things, right, happening in Carriacou. We need to keep that going, keep the momentum going. You can't burn out now, right? So the PR work needs to be done. The PR work needs to be done. You look at Ron Redhead page, for example, right, where a promise at our second government town hall meeting at West Hall St. David, work is ongoing on the Laura playing field to address the current situation. Do a little 2 minutes video speaking to that with the work taking place, interviewing the people there, the people in the community, 30 seconds. How they would benefit from this and how they feel by these things happening. Then you look on his page again, update on the road situation at St. John's Vale Road Development Project. We are currently engaged in grading and leveling the road. St. John's Vale Road is located beneath the Tempe playing field, right? Come on, a little piece needs to be done on that. You see some housing projects being done, houses being constructed and so on. Why the PR people are not doing, a 2 minutes piece, a video? You don't have to wait at the end of the week to produce some kind of review. We need to see the PR arm of the different ministries doing their work. You need to have that kind of machinery working, or else one minister will be featured throughout. One minister. Every time you look, one or two ministers. If you go and you look at the Honorable Deacon Mitchell's speech, for example, right? The Prime Minister's speech, or Office of the Prime Minister, or the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, you would see that a lot is being done, right? Whole pile of things being featured. You look at his Prime Minister page, for example. And I've been following these things, Office of the Prime Minister, right? Office of the Prime Minister page. A whole pile of just videos, not videos, sorry, photos. Okay, that's great. It speaks to the people who could read and da. But we need to see more of the short videos being done to feature these things so that it can go on YouTube, it can go on different platforms, TikTok, it can go on, we need to see that. We need to see more of that happening. Yes, it's all good to have all these photos. Everybody in Grenada, not A+ when it comes to reading and analyzing or reading and interpreting. But the visual aid, the video, the real stuff, they would see and they would understand some more about the thing. The PR arm of the government in particular is extremely weak, and we need to call it out. Extremely weak. Yes, they're trying, but they need to try harder. A lot is being done, and it is really sad. It is not being featured. It's not being featured, and it does not augurs well for the government. I'm telling you, they need to do more. They need to do more. Photos are cool, but they are not enough. We need to see videos. Do some 2 minutes. Come on, we're in 2023. 2 minutes video explaining the whole thing. The ministers are going out there doing a lot of work, but GBN is the one, or MTV and so on, that's covering these things. Come on, man. We need to see more. For example, let's look. All right. So let me now feature this. This is an MTV piece. Bravo. Brilliant piece by MTV, where they went out and they interviewed business people in Grenville, not just in town, but in Grenville. Listen to what the business people had to say about the bi-monthly payment. That is what must be done by GIS. That is what must be done by the different ministries, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of, the different ministries. The PR work must be done. Not just sit in an office and put out a release and all this rubbish. And not only that, we want to see the press secretary also. She has to do more than just be at a press conference or post-cabinet briefing. She has to do more. The press secretary has to do more than just appear at a press conference or a post-cabinet briefing. It has to be more than that. Come on, the PR sucks. The government PR sucks, and they have to do more to improve it. Come on.
The government has officially begun the payment of bi-monthly salaries to government workers. And our news team visited the town of Grenville to speak to business owners to get from them firsthand what they think about the rollout of the bi-monthly payment of salaries and how this is going to affect business going forward.
I was very glad when that step was taken, because I spent about 40 years in the States and they pay bi-weekly. And that keeps business going. Because when you think about it, in 1 year time, for a person to get paid 12 times, how can he live like that? 12 times. If he's getting paid more regular then, things will go on, business will go on, schools, buses, everything will survive better.
Well, I don't believe it go, I believe it will be a good on business, you understand, because people, the money go float around more faster. And I believe that even for the people who collecting the money, it will be good for them too, because some people, when they have to wait till the end of the month, sometimes they borrow their money. I mean, the end of the month, it's just to pay back with their money. So them go be able to budget the money better if they get the money a little faster. That's how I think about it. Yeah, well, what will come from this, normally on a month end, I just have a busy time on a month end. So with that happening now, I know twice a month, I can have a busy period. So they go benefit me in that kind of way. You understand? Yeah, so that's what I think about it.
From a business perspective, I believe the bi-monthly rollout of salaries is very timely. Of course, it leaves an opportunity for persons to have a greater spending power, but in all of that, it is very necessary for persons to budget as well. As relates to the businesses, it will create a better turnover, all right, and that of persons having the spending power, right, and persons being able now to able to control the cash flow. You know, I believe that businesses will benefit through that rather than having to wait on a monthly basis. You know, persons have to wait before they do their shopping, but you have it every 2 weeks now, so it would be something that is a lot easier for persons to manage and for businesses to be able to grow in that extent.
I have no problem with it whatsoever, and I hope that it works. The most important thing is that people must realize, listen, it's not an extra salary. It's basically that your wages and your salary is split in two. And what they will have to do is to ensure that they manage their finances properly, whereby at the end of the month, they will be able to meet their financial commitment.
Reporting from the town of Grenville in St. Andrews, I am Troy Gill.
Right, that's a very powerful piece there by Troy Gill. He went out there, and that's MTV, an excellent piece of reporting. He went out there and he interviewed the business people to find out how they're faring, what they think about the bi-monthly payment. Come on, that's supposed to be somebody within GIS go in and do such a story. Not only that, you look at projects that are happening, and as though somebody has to tell these PR people, you have to do this, cover that. So where's the leadership on that front? Is it because you don't have a director of GIS? Is it because you know, on a daily basis, you don't sit and plan what you have to do, where the ministers will be going, what are some of the projects they will be looking at and so on? Because a lot is being done by the government, but they're not being properly featured. And I tell you this, in mass communication, anytime you see just the photos, it speaks to lack of interest and zeal, you know, like some lackeys doing some, you know, shitty work, or just laziness altogether. We need to see more work being done. Produce stuff, little videos, just 2 minutes, 3 minutes, speaking to these projects, speaking to these achievements, speaking to these things. We want to see that happening, right? The government is doing a lot of work, but something is not adding up with the PR from a government standpoint. Look at this, a brilliant piece done by Troy Gill. He went up there in Grenville and he interviewed the business people. And we're hearing it from the business people. They're saying, look, they're happy. They're benefiting significantly. And they also said, well, look, the individual, the workers, they will benefit also, because they don't have to go and borrow to make it to the end of the month, right? It's a very, very good piece. So I am saying we need to do more to bring out. And I don't sugarcoat things. When I speak on this program, I speak because I want the government to do better. I want them to improve. I want to see all the different machineries working within government, right? And that is why I spoke about the press secretary. It should not only be about you appearing at a post-cabinet briefing and hosting that or moderating it. It has to be more than that. It has to be more than that. So we have a lot of work to do with the PR, in my view. A lot of work to do where that is concerned. Because the government is working, they're doing a lot of work, but come on, we're not hearing much about it. Again, I go back to GBN, and thank you very much, GBN and MTV, for capturing some of these things and highlighting it. Let's go back to GBN.
The speed at which you drive will be closely monitored as the mounted traffic lights comes with an added feature.
Traffic light will have an added feature. It will have the cameras built into the traffic lights, right? And that is a feature that we never had before. Also, we are going to do some regular maintenance on those traffic lights, because one of the issues we had before is that the lights were not being maintained, and therefore the life of it would have cut short. So we have learned from that, and we will be putting together a crew to maintain these lights as we go forward.
Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, speaking with GBN's news team outside of Parliament on Tuesday. Government is looking at the month of June latest for these lights to be turned on, serving the purpose of regulating the flow of traffic. The project started back in September 2022, 3 months approximately after the new NDC administration took office.
Regards to the traffic lights, the poles and the lights are already up. Let's say 90% of the poles and the lights are up. And the wiring and the fiber optics have already been run. So basically, we're looking at next week to start the road markings. And we are looking at May, the month of May, to complete the installation of the lights. So yes, the lights should be up by June, up and running. And we will start with the Paradise Bridge, the lights on Paradise Bridge. We are going to have an opening in May, and then we will proceed to really put up or to power the other lights.
The minister notes that the reinstallation of traffic lights will complement the work of traffic wardens. He said the lights on the Paradise Bridge are critical, hence the reason they will be the first ones to be turned on. This project amounts to over $4 million.
The cost of the lights is approximately $4.3 million, which approximates about 11 million EC dollars. And and we are confident that they will serve their purpose. And the implementation of the lights, we really want to push it so that the order can be restored in a timely manner.
The overall objective of the traffic lights is to regulate the flow of traffic. Some of the areas he mentioned where traffic lights will be installed are Granitang Road, Young Street, Scotts Street, Granby Street, Paddock Road and Belmont Junction. Christina John, GBN News.
And again, folks, that's a very nice piece from Christelina John, but that's GBN. So I featured MTV, and that's GBN. That's wonderful. They're doing what they have to do. But when it comes to government, they need to be out there marketing, promoting, letting people know what the government is doing. So this traffic light, remember, the NNP talked about these things, and they talk. The NNP is all about talking. The NDC came in and they get the thing and they implement the thing and they put the thing in place. They're different. That is why the Ministry of Implementation is so important. They're getting the job done. So we need the public to know that, right? We need to see more stories like these. We need 2 minutes, 3 minutes pieces, 4 minutes pieces, talking, just a piece, a video, right? Short, but straight to the point. Very effective. Very effective. And I want to urge those ministers, because look, I get feedback from people regularly, and you already have people saying, well, how are only seeing one set of ministers being featured? Because they making it their duty to call this MTV, call the GBN and that kind of stuff. They're making it their duty to do that. But you have a PR person within those different ministries. Come on. So when the Honorable Lennox Andrews, right, goes out there, he needs to be featured. The Honorable Lennox Andrew, the Honorable David Andrew, the Honorable Gloria Thomas, they need to be featured too, equally so. The PR sucks in those ministries. In some instances, they try, but we need to see more. When the Honorable Kieran James does stuff on his out there, in fact, some ministers, you don't even hear about them. You don't even hear about them. You don't see them, and you don't hear about them. And we need to be straight up and frank where that is concerned. Some of them, they're doing stuff in the ministry, in the different constituencies, in the different communities. They're doing things, but they're not being featured. You're not hearing them. You're not hearing about them, and you don't even see them. You don't. But they're doing things. But if it's not captured, if it's not featured, then what you expect? People don't know. And when I speak on this program, I speak because I want these people to do better. I want you to improve. Come on. So you have some ministries that are being featured every time you turn on. You're seeing them being featured. right? But let's see the others. The question is, what are they doing to make sure that what they do on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis, that they are featured, that something is produced out of it? I'm asking the question. You see? Come on, we need to see more of that being done in all the constituencies. The Honorable Joseph Dennis Cornwall, for example, the Honorable Joseph Andel, right? Recently we saw a little one or two things with them, but we need to see more because they are doing stuff in their constituencies. They are doing stuff in their communities. They are doing stuff from a ministry point of view. We need the PR machinery within government to be activated in such a way that they're all featured. They're all featured because Grenadians rely heavily on visual aid, on videos and, yes, photos, but to a certain extent. We need to see more than that. Produce something. Tell a story of what is taking place, what they're doing, and how it's benefiting people and improving the lives of people. We need to see that. And look, I'm very, very frank, and they know me. We need to see more work being done within the different ministries to showcase and highlight the ministers, because like some of them don't exist. It's like some of them, when last have you seen some of these people? And I know personally that they're working. I know that they're doing stuff. Come on, we could do better than this. We could do better than this. The PR, we need to get a grip of the PR. You know, today I met 3 people, and 3 of them telling me the same thing, and I thought it was strange. That, well, there was one lady who has 5 children. She started building a house. She wanted a little assistance to complete it, so she asked me where she needs to go to get some assistance to complete, wooden house. And you have the housing repair program or material assistance program. So I said to her, well, you have to go to this place and you can seek to get assistance there, the constituency office. And she was saying to me, well, she glad for the rain because some rain was falling today. She glad for the rain because she has to fetch water because she's renting a piece of land. So the land belongs to somebody else. And she has to get the land paper and all different things. So the person gave a permission letter. But when she went to Nawasa, they say, well, look, you need to get the land paper, title deed, all kind of thing to get water. And I remember vividly the Honorable Andy Williams and the Honorable Deacon Mitchell talking about this WASH project, where they need to change this damn legislation that governs Nawasa to have everybody get water and everybody get light. If the person has to be removed from the land, then the land already has water. If you have to do something there, and they already have electricity, that is a necessity in 2023. You telling me a person with 5 girls, 5 little children, right, fighting to build a little house, apply for water, because that person has to go and fetch water way down the road, by the standpipe or that kind of old, I'm looking for an adjective to describe it. It's like you go Somalia in Africa and then place and you see people, come on, we're in Grenada. This has to stop. So my mind, because 3 of them, 3 women told me about the same thing today. They're trying to get water. They can't get it because Nawasa saying, well, they want this document, they want this, that. Every stupidness. Because there is some law and all kind of nonsense in place. But I remember the Honorable Deacon Mitchell and the Honorable Andy Williams talking about that. So let me again play this thing, this WASH project, because it says something. I'm really happy that they're focusing on that.
This ambitious project is being executed through the efforts of the people of Grenada, with facilitation support from the Nation Builders Program. And let me just give you some statistics as we get into this. In Grenada, we have approximately 1,398 households with no access to toilet facilities.
People without toilet facilities. You heard the amount of people?
This ambitious project is being executed through the efforts of the people of Grenada, with facilitation support from the Nation Builders Program. And let me just give you some statistics as we get into this. In Grenada, we have approximately 1,398 households.
Almost 1,400 people do not have access to bathroom in Grenada. Households, huh? Is it persons he said, or no, households? You'll be referring to households. Let me take that from the start.
This ambitious project is being executed through the efforts of the people of Grenada, with facilitation support from the Nation Builders Program. And let me just give you some statistics as we get into this. In Grenada, we have approximately 1,398 households.
So it's households. Almost 1,400, 1,400 households do not have access to bathroom facilities.
With no access to toilet facilities.
Toilet and bathroom facilities you're referring to. Having toilet and having a bath there in that house.
We also have approximately 3,500 persons have no running water in their homes.
You're talking about 3,000 plus, right? Households not having running water and so on in their homes. That's significant, you know.
We also have approximately 3,500 persons have no running water in their homes. Also, we have 8,715 persons today that uses pit latrines.
I mean, this should make everybody extremely concerned, right? Extremely concerned. 8,000 plus households with people and so on, right? Not having a flushable toilet, pit toilet. They have pit toilet, pit latrines, right? This, is it persons he said, or households? Let me take that over.
Also, we have 8,715 persons today.
The indictment is on the NNP. They have been in power for so long, but look at the amount of people who still rely on pit latrine. You know, and that is why I am so into this transformation agenda. That is why I become angry when people start talking bad about this government and the transformation agenda. That is why I will crush anyone who come up against this transformation agenda, because I want to see this 8,000 plus people with flushable toilet in their homes. I want to see this 1,400 households with bathroom facility, with water, and all these different things. That's what I want to see. And this government is actually on a path to getting that done.
That uses pit latrines. And this program plans to address that. We are looking to officially launch a program in May, and we are encouraging social partners to get involved, because at the end of the day, the government cannot do everything. And we want people on the outside to come in and get involved as a community-based projects and so that at the end of the day, we can all contribute towards building Grenada. And yes, again, we know that approximately 98% of Grenadians have metered or have meters and access to water. but we also have 2% that are really in need. And in doing so, we want to, again, ask everyone to come in and join this project. It is a project that involves the community and is community-based.
From the Honorable Andy Williams. So the government is now undertaking a project to correct that, to bring running water to people, to make sure that they have a toilet facility and bath, to make sure that they have at least this basic stuff. Electricity is basic. Water is also basic. I see, well, I have a problem when a landlord would say, well, you can't get water, you can't get electricity, you can't get that, but you're renting from me and I don't want that on the land. I have a problem with that. That has to change. The law must speak to a house. Once you have a house, you have a right to water and a right to electricity. That's basic, and internet. And no landlord could prevent you when you build a house on that land that you rent from getting water or getting electricity or anything of that sort. We need to change that nonsense. If the person leaves the property, then you have water and you have the electricity, the infrastructure is there. Come on. If you don't want it, you can remove it. It's basic. It's simple. So we have to do more in that regard to lift our people out of poverty, to move our people to the next level. We want good for our people, and we must strive towards that. We must work extra to make that a reality. So when 3 women spoke to me today, my mind ran straight back on that very initiative. It's a great initiative. It's a good move, if you ask me, by the Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team, the Honorable Andy Williams and the community, going out there and identify people who don't have water and make sure that they get. Going out there and identify people with pit latrines and make sure that they get flushable toilets, right? Going out there and identify the people who need these things genuinely so to move up the ladder. It feels good when you can have an inside bathroom and toilet. It feels good when you can have pipe-borne water and you don't have to fetch water in buckets and carry it on your head and that kind of stuff. We are in 2023. But it's shameful that we are here talking about this when the NNP was in power for 20-something years. Yes, they did some 1 or 2 little bathrooms, right? 1 or 2 little things, nothing to talk about. In fact, I should try to get the statistics on the amount they did, because they were boasting and bragging, but they did not do much. And in many instances, it was just job for the boys, right? But we have to address this thing in a deeper way. For example, a person who rents a piece of land should not be denied getting water, pipe-borne water. They should not be denied, period. Electricity, they should not be denied. You have a situation where this lady said to me, she has 5 girls. 5 girls, young children. Yeah. No electricity, no water. She applied for water she can't get, even if she get a permission from the landowner. They had to bring everything. Land paper, deed, title, everything to Nawasa. And it's the same thing with Gren Lake and so on. It's just, I mean, it's barbaric if you ask me, but we need to move to the next level where that is concerned. So kudos to the government. You're doing an excellent job because what you're striving to do is to eradicate poverty or reduce the poverty rate. Because you may not eradicate it altogether, but you can help some people to get out of poverty and move to the next level. And I want to commend you. I want to applaud you for such an effort. So far, so good. So in summary, I want to commend the government for implementing a number of projects and programs and initiatives. I saw tonight 2 young people being appointed youth CARICOM youth ambassadors. That's good. That's wonderful. I think is it two? Two plus you have designates. It's a number of them, right? Is it two? Or I think it's two. But they have, other people who go to kind of fall in line if they're not able to. Something of that sort. But that's good. Getting young people involved in the democratic process and showing them that they too can serve at different levels. That's a wonderful thing. I really love that. So things are happening. A number of things that are happening. The bi-monthly salary, the traffic lights, a lot of roads are being fixed. And that too, we need to see in that ministry, the PR person going out there with a camera, a mic, and maybe with the minister or ministers in the different constituencies and highlight. You don't have to go just with the minister of the ministry, right? But if you go in St. John, you can highlight some of the projects, right? The roads that are being fixed. St. Mark, St. Patrick, St. Andrew, the different constituencies. You can do that. And that would be really wonderful. So we can see those ministers. They can be featured. The drains, there are a lot of work that are being done. Drains are being constructed. Roads are being constructed. Roads are being paved. We need to see more of those ministers being featured. So I urge the PR machinery within government, the different ministries, to do more. And it's not just about taking out a photo, click, click, click. We passed that stage. We passed the stage of photo. You used to see only photos, like a high five. Is it high five? Where you only, that's years ago, Only photos being featured. Gone are those days. You will get more feedback with a video than a photo. For example, I give you a typical example. I put up only today, I put up a video, right, of a house. So somebody did that video. I took it and I put it up, right? Place that up there. And I know the person don't have the kind of reach like I do. And I put that up on my Facebook page. So, where it says, Peter run and the house fell, right? But almost 12,000 people viewed that with just that little short 11 seconds video. Almost 12,000 people saw that video. Just that 11 seconds, That's how fast this thing could reach. When you put up a photo, you don't even know how many people view it. You don't even know how many people view the thing. Unless you set up something that you, every click and whatever so you need to be able to measure success and your reach, right? I know that the previous program, 6,000, almost 7,000 people viewed that program. The previous program, almost 8,000 people viewed that program. The previous program, almost 8,000 people viewed that program. The previous program, almost 13,000 people viewed it. The program before that, almost 27,000 people viewed it. The program before that, 16,000 people viewed it. The program before that, 20,000 people viewed it. The program before that, 20,000 people viewed it. The program before that, 10,000 people viewed it. The program before that, 11,000. The program before that, 13,000. The program before that, 12,000. 13,000 the next one, and we can go on and on. But I have raw data on Facebook alone. You can use YouTube as a benchmark, but for radio, you don't know how many people are listening on radio because anybody could be in a vehicle and all over the place listening to the program. That's why I do roll call and that kind of thing. But when it comes to Facebook and social media, you can actually measure it. So the video is showing everybody who viewed, and I can go back and tell you how long they viewed for. I can also tell you how many women viewed, how many men, what age, who viewed the video, the program, and where they viewed from. I can actually tell you how many people from St. George, St. Mark, St. Andrew, St. Patrick, St. David, New York, Toronto, Canada, wherever. I can tell you how many people from these places viewed and what age range. I can get a graph to show all the age, the gender, and everything like that. Raw data. And that is how effective a video, a short video is. You can get real information, data coming out of it. So I urge the PR in the different ministries to to do more, to highlight, just short videos, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, talking about these things, highlighting the ministers, because at the end of the day, they need to be reelected. Huh? I'm not telling you have to be political, but just do your work and showcase what they're doing. It's what it is. So, folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. I want to wish you all the best for the entire night. I want to thank the almost 1,100 people who viewed the program tonight on Facebook and YouTube put together. I want to thank you very much. Those who shared the program and those who continue to share the program to their friends and colleagues and tell people about the program. Tonight was more about what government continues to do in our communities throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Of course, I, zero in on the need for the PR in the different ministries to do more to showcase what the different ministers are doing, because we want all of them to be showcased. We want all of them to be seen or highlighted and not just some. I also made the point that the press secretary should do more than, from what I see, from where I sit, it's just about the press briefings and so on, and maybe a press release. But we need to see more being done to, beef up the PR work of the government totally. There's a need also to appoint a director of GIS who will, make sure that things are done the way it's supposed to be done at that particular outfit, because it's important to market, promote, and push what the government is doing as they seek to transform Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Folks, take good care. Bye for now. Have a wonderful night. I'll be back with you tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the a.m.
The proceeding was a paid program. The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests of this program and not the views of this radio station.
THAK